What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, rise up. As always, please subscribe to the channel. Please like. Tell any of your Falcon friends, any football fans about the page. Before you leave the video, definitely hit that that thumbs up for your boy. But I want to hop into a couple things. As you know, it is week 4. We're now sitting at 1-2. And this week we're taking on the Tennessee Titans, and they are coming to Atlanta, so this is a home game for us. We will be wearing our throwback jerseys on. I have my Deion Sanders jersey on right now, my black jersey on. We are wearing our black jerseys this Sunday, our throwback jerseys. There's a couple things I want to get into in this video, some keys to victory and some things I've saw this week. First, I want to talk about some news. As everybody knows, Keanu Neal did go down with an Achilles injury, and he is out for the remainder of the season. I do feel bad. Like I said, I hate injuries. I said that in my last video that I showed when I did a recap of the Colts. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. Everybody know at this point that he was injured. We do feel bad because he's one of the best players on our defense and one of the leaders on this team and one of the leaders on the defense. But there's some quick things that I want to talk about in this game. Some things that I've seen and that I've heard coming from Dan Quinn and things that I've heard through the grapevine. First thing, as you know, we did try out George Iloka, who used to play for the Bengals, one of the safeties, to try to replace Keanu Neal. And we did try out TJ McDonald, who played for the Rams and the Dolphins last year. We didn't sign either one of those veterans. They just had like a tryout, and neither one of them were signed. We moved up Jamal Carter from our practice squad. I don't know much about him. I heard that he was on the Broncos preseason roster, and he was cut by the Broncos, and we picked him up. From what Dan Quinn says, he attended the Miami University, and he says that he's a physical player and that he feels that he could possibly come in and help fill Keanu Neal's shoes. And I've also heard that this week, Kamal Ishmael will be taking over primarily the strong safety position. And I have a couple issues with this. Okay, first issue with Dan Quinn. As you know, last year when Keanu Neal went down, we decided not to sign anybody. At the time, we had Marco Emmanuel as our defensive coordinator. And I feel like Marco Emmanuel became the scapegoat because last year when Keanu Neal and Ricardo Allen went down, I didn't like that we didn't go and sign anybody. We played Richards, who is no longer on our roster. He took over Keanu Neal's spot, and we moved Casey to the free safety spot. DeMonte Casey did play well. We moved him to cornerback. He's playing cornerback right now. But one thing what I don't like about what I'm hearing, I don't believe that Kamal Ishmael is the answer to Keanu Neal getting injured. And as Falcons fans, y'all might not like what I'm about to say, but this is my thing. If it didn't work last year when you tried to play the backup guys that you had at safety when our key guys got hurt, why repeat the same mistake? I feel like we're making this. Dan Quinn is making a mistake. Unless he's just trying to bluff in this point and not give away our defensive game plan, I hope that Kamal Ishmael is not going to be the permanent strong safety. I have nothing against Kamal Ishmael. I think he's a solid backup player and a solid backup linebacker. We did change his position a couple years ago. I believe it was like 2 years ago when Dan Quinn changed Kamal Ishmael from a safety to a linebacker, and that was for a reason. The reason that he switched his position is because he said that he was a solid tackler. But I feel like another reason that he changed his position is because Kamal Ishmael has lost his speed. When he first joined the Falcons, he was a pretty decent player as far as his speed. But since he's gotten older, Kamal Ishmael has been in the league like 6 or 7 years at this point. And he's just like Devondre Campbell. he's gotten slower over the years. So I don't know why we're trying to get him to replace Keanu Neal, and I believe that Dan Quinn is placing too much trust in his players as far as in Kamal Ishmael. Kamal Ishmael didn't show me anything last week to say that he can nail down or he solidified to take over that spot. He hasn't proven anything. Kamal Ishmael is, like I said, he's a good special teams player. He's a decent backup linebacker because he can play in the box, and he's you don't have to be that fast to play linebacker in the league. You just got to be average. It's a lot of slow linebackers in the league because you're playing close to the line. But to play safety, you have to cover a lot of grass playing safety. You have to be pretty fast. Keanu Neal is not the fastest guy, but he ran a 4.6, so he's not he runs a 4.6 so he's not that slow. Kamal Ishmael at this point, I don't know what he ran in the combine as far as his speed, but just me watching him last week, him and Devondre Campbell were getting burnt pretty much every freaking play, and he was getting burnt by tight ends. So I can imagine Kamal Ishmael trying to cover these wide receivers for the Titans. And the Titans don't have great wide receivers, but wide receivers and running backs are pretty fast. Laterally, to me, Kamal Ishmael doesn't have the lateral quickness to be the starting safety. If you watched my last video, what I said is I believe that Dan Quinn needs to make an adjustment here. He needs to keep Kamal Ishmael can be the backup safety and still play a little bit of linebacker, but I feel like the answer for this Falcons team, if we're not going to sign a safety, one of these safeties off the street, we need to go ahead and move Devontae Casey back to the safety position and let him and Ricardo Allen play the safety position, and let Kendall Sheffield or Jordan Miller play the slot corner. Move Casey from the cornerback position back into the safe and let him run safety. And I don't care if he's running a strong safety or the free safety, because like I said in my last video, Ricardo Allen knows how to play all three secondary positions. He knows how to play strong safety, he knows how to play free safety, and he knows how to play cornerbacks because he used to be a cornerback, Ricardo Allen, once upon a time. So I feel like Kamal Ishmael is not the answer. We're going to see in this game if Kamal Ishmael is the answer. But I'm telling you right now, I watched the game last week, and I watched tape and film from the last game. Kamal Ishmael is not the answer. Just like with me saying that, another adjustment that I said that need to be made in the last video, Devondre Campbell, he's another one that was getting exposed in coverage. We need to go ahead and give Jermaine Grace a chance and give Afoye Olakun a chance to be the starters at linebacker, or at least in coverage, because Devondre Campbell hasn't played well this year, y'all. He's not playing well in coverage. He's doing decent when they run the ball because he's a decent run stopper. Like I said, it's not that much grass to cover when you're just trying to stop the run. You basically just running up to the line. But when you got to cover these wheel routes by these running backs, and you have to cover these tight ends, which nowadays most tight ends are like wide receivers. They're really fast. So it's not many slow tight ends in the league right now. It's some, but a lot of them are pass-catching tight ends nowadays. So in this game, the Titans have Delaney Walker, which is like, you might as well say Mariota's #1 receiver, because he catches majority of their passes down the field. And I believe he led that team in catches last year. And I believe in touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. So this is not the game to be not trying to make adjustments and trying to go with your guys or roll with your guys that you've been rolling with for the last couple years. It's time to make adjustments. We don't need to continue to drop and lose games that are winnable games because we're too stubborn to make the appropriate changes. So a lot of Falcon fans right at this point believe that Dan Quinn is in the hot seat, meaning if they don't win this year, they don't make the playoffs this year or make a deep playoff run, he's going to get fired. I don't believe that Dan Quinn deserves to be fired this year. No matter how this year turns out, I believe he's earned within the past couple seasons, with him going to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, with us making another deep run in 2017 when we lost to the Eagles barely in the divisional round. Last year was the first time we've missed the playoffs in like the last 2 to 3 years. So I don't believe that Dan Quinn needs to be fired. But if he has a terrible year and if the team shows like plays like they played the last 2 away games against the Vikings and against the Colts, meaning they come out slow, they come out looking lethargic, Dan Quinn could possibly, his seat could be getting warm. I wouldn't say his seat is hot, but it could be getting warm. So I feel like this. He needs to go ahead and make these proper adjustments, because against the Tennessee Titans, they like to run the ball and they like to throw to their tight ends. So this sounds similar to last week's game against the Titans. So what I'm looking for in this game, keys to victory. Dan Quinn, make the adjustments on defense. Meaning sub some players in and out. I don't know what his plan is with Kamal Ishmael, if that's for him to be the permanent, all 3 down safety, meaning in run when they're running the ball and when they're passing the ball. But I hope that that's not the case, because I believe that Kamal Ishmael in coverage is a liability. Also, Devondre Campbell is a liability when it comes to passing the ball in coverage. So that's one of my keys to victory. On defense, we have to make these adjustments, Dan Quinn. I understand this is a business. We can't go by what a player has done for us in the past. Devondre Campbell in that Super Bowl year and the last couple years have been a solid linebacker. But this year, he's slipping. Kamal Ishmael, in the past, he's been a decent safety, a decent linebacker, and a great special teams player. But I believe that that's all he is. He's not a starting safety in this league. It's other guys. Even if you got to go out there and look at like a Eric Berry or even George Iloka. I like George Iloka. I think George Iloka would have been a decent player to fill that position. He played with the Vikings last year, and he was always a decent safety when he played with the Cincinnati Bengals. So he's even a better player than Kamal Ishmael as far as safety. He's better in coverage, because when I went to look it up, George Iloka has played or started in this league 79 games. So he has a ton of experience. He knows how to play in the box, because he played down in the box with the Bengals. And George Iloka is a hitter, just like Keanu Neal is a solid hitter. So I don't understand why they didn't sign one of those guys. I would have also been fine with TJ McDonald. I remember when he was on the Rams, he was a decent player. I believe that both of those players are better players than Kamal Ishmael when it comes to coverage. And that's not trying to bash Kamal Ishmael, because I think he's a solid player and a smart player. I just think that he's not as athletic enough to play the safety position. Now, I hope that he proves me wrong on Sunday, because I hope that we win this game, and we need to win this game, because we don't need to fall to 1-3, because the Saints are right now ahead when their record right now is 2-1. And if they beat the Cowboys on Sunday night, they'll be 3-1, and we could possibly fall to 1-3. So we don't need to drop 2 to 3 games behind the Saints. We need to keep pace. So if the Saints lose, they'll end up have the same record as us. They'll end up being 2-2 like us, and we'll be tied for first place in the division. Because right now, how it's looking, the NFC North, all of their teams have winning records, meaning we have to get it together, because we don't want to be on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs this year. And I feel like the easiest way, and what Dan Quinn always preaches, the easiest way to get in and have a home game in the playoffs is win your division. That's always your first goal, as Dan Quinn says. And that's pretty much any team. You want to win your division. So we have no excuse this year not to win this division. With Drew Brees hurt, with Cam Newton hurt, and with Jameis Winston, which we all know Jameis Winston is shaky, we should be able to. We should win this NFC South division, and I want to say with ease. But we should do it. It shouldn't be as hard as it normally is, because all of these starting quarterbacks are down. So we better get with it. My second key to victory: no turnovers, or limit turnovers, cause turnovers, and limit penalties. No more holding penalties. That goes for everybody. No holding penalties. No blocking the backs on punt returns. No holding on punt returns. The basic things. If you can't stay in front of your guy on the punt, just let them call fair catch. Don't try to hold. Don't do none of that, because field position is going to be key in this game. We're putting ourselves in a hole where the offense has to go 90-something yards every freaking drive, because every punt return, somebody wants to hold or block in the back or push somebody out of bounds, just dumb stuff. We need to stop stop beating ourselves is what Dan Quinn talked about in his press conference. We're beating ourselves with these turnovers. Last week we had 16 penalties or 16 flags for over 100-some yards, a length of a football field, and that's terrible. So we got to get it together on this defense. No more holding, no illegal blocking the backs, none of the dumb penalties that you can avoid. I don't really care about the penalties that can be wishy-washy, like the ones you can't control. You trying to make a sack if you're a defensive lineman and you fall on the quarterback. To me, that's not something that, those are borderline or gray area penalties. The helmet to helmet penalties, like when you're going in as a safety on a slant pattern, you trying to hit a offensive player and you hit him with your shoulder, but you still get called for it. Like last week when Ricardo Allen hit one of the Colts players with his shoulder and they called it illegal contact or something like that, or they call it excessive, a personal foul for like excessive contact, whatever. But those penalties sometimes you can't avoid because it's too much gray area. But the ones that you can avoid, like holding on a punt return or a kickoff return or hitting somebody when they're already out of bounds, like those are not gray area plays. Those are pretty much like stupid plays. So let's not play stupid. Let's play smart football and tough football. Third, we have to start off fast. That's the key to a victory. We have to start off fast. Like I said in my last video, this Atlanta Falcons team, the Atlanta Falcons are an offensive-minded team. And it doesn't mean that we're not a tough team. We're just an offensive-minded team. Look at the Rams. The Rams made the Super Bowl last year. The Rams are an offensive-minded team. The Rams' offense is better than their defense. They're known for, Sean McVay is an offensive mind, not a defensive mind. Yeah, they have some great players on their defense, or like Aaron Donald, but we have great players on our defense. Deion Jones, Grady Jarrett. We have some good players on our defense. Vic Beasley, Desmond Trufant. Come on. We have some good players on our defense. But we have to get off to a fast start because what we don't want to happen is let the Titans play ball control. What we want to do is make them play catch up playing against us, meaning we get the ball, we need to score on the first drive, go up 7-0 or 3-0 so that our defense can pin their ears back and make the Titans one-dimensional. Because I'm telling you what the game plan is going to be for the Titans. The game for the Titans, or the keys for the Titans is they're going to try to run the football with Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis. They're going to try to do quick little screen passes and quick pop passes to Delaney Walker. They're not really going to look too much to throw the ball deep. They're just going to try to play ball control. They're going to do a lot of RPO type plays, reverses, a lot of plays where Marcus Mariota may fake to a player and run with it, like some option type plays where Mariota will run to the outside and pitch it to either Deion Lewis or to Derrick Henry. So another key is starting this game off fast. We need to get to a lead because the Titans team is not built to come back from a big deficit. They're a run-first team. They're a physical team. Their whole goal is to run the football. So our goal needs to be to jump out to a lead so that they have to play catch-up against us, and then we can let our defensive end loose, and we can start bringing that pressure. And trust me, if you bring pressure against Marcus Mariota, he will throw an interception in this game. Mark my words. If he's under duress in this game, meaning that we're getting to Marcus Mariota and they're hitting him, even if it's not sacks, but it's quarterback pressures and quarterback hits, he will throw you the football because Marcus Mariota has trouble with his accuracy. Marcus Mariota is a great athlete, but he's not a great precision passer. He's not the best passer. So if you get him under pressure and under duress, he will look to either escape the pocket and try to run with the football, or he will throw it to the other team. Trust me. The Titans are going to try to keep the score low in this game. So our goal should be to try to run the score up. We should try to at least get to 27 to 30 points in this game, because if we can get to 30 points, the Titans cannot beat us in this game. Trust me when I tell you, the Titans are not an offensive-minded team. They're a run the football type of team, a muck it up type of team, and a defensive-minded team. So in this game, they're going to try to muck the game up and make it a 20 or a 13 to 17 type game. They're going to try to keep the score low. They're going to try to keep Matt Ryan and that offense off the field. So on offense, this is the fourth key to victory. For the offense, keep the chains moving. Keep the chains moving. We're going to have to get first downs on defense, get off the field on third downs. And that reverts back to the last thing that I had said about penalties, because a couple times last week they should have got off the field, but a lot of times when it was like third down and we would get a stop, somebody would either get a call for a holding penalty, illegal contact, pass interference. Like we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So we got to do a better job at executing. This game is all about execution. Do your job. That's another thing that I noticed in this game with this defense. Do your job. Do not try to do someone else's job, because I went back and looked at some of the film from last week, and last week it looks like, I know on one of the touchdown passes with Zach Pascal of the Colts, he caught a deep touchdown on the right-hand side. We were in a man coverage play, and Demonte Casey had his eyes in the backfield. They do a fake screen pass like they were going to throw it to the outside to their running back, Marlon Mack. And Casey took his eye off of his responsibility, which he was in man coverage against Zach Pascal. Pascal ran right up the sideline wide open and caught a touchdown pass because Casey bit for the play action fake, or not even a play action fake, but the fake screen pass. So this game is crucial that all of the Atlanta Falcons defensive players know their keys and play their keys. If you're in the man coverage, you need to cover your man. I don't care if they hand the ball off. You're supposed to be running down the field with your man, because that's your responsibility. We need to go back to our fundamentals. We must do the fundamentals great. The teams that win they do the fundamentals great. The fundamentals are the routine things that they do. If you look at New England or any of these teams that consistently win, they do the fundamental things great. They don't beat themselves. In the last couple weeks, the games that we played that we lost, the Vikings game had a bunch of turnovers, and the Colts game had a turnover and had penalties. So the teams that win in this league, because most of the time, like I said in my last video, these games come down to the last possession. Who can score a touchdown? Who can make a stop? Who cannot get beat on like a trick play? Things of that nature. Who executes down the stretch? So we have to execute in this game. And one more thing that I really want to hit on with this Falcons team this week in this game. As I mentioned, we need to win our home games. This is another home game. If you can win your 8 home games, that's 8 wins right there. So we need to try to go undefeated at home or win most of our home games, because it's hard to win on the road. So we need to go ahead and get this victory on Sunday. I believe that we have a great chance to win this game, but we have to play smart this game. For our offensive coordinators, Dirk Cutter, I want to see Calvin Ridley get his targets this week. I want to see Austin Hooper get his targets, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu. I don't want to see Luke Stalker getting any of those. I don't want to see none of those terrible play calls. When we get on the goal line, I want us to try to run the ball a little bit more, because that's another thing that I wanted to hit on in this video. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but in this video, last week, Devontae Freeman looked like he's back, y'all. He's coming back. He's getting his explosiveness back. We made a couple running lanes and creases, and he ran through some tackles. He was running hard last week. So in this game, we need to do like what other teams do to us. We need to run the ball, because last week, because we started off so slow, and this is why you cannot start off getting in the hole. You cannot run the ball when you're down 20 points, 21 points, 3 possessions, 4 possessions in a game, even sometimes 2 possessions, depending on what quarter it is. So we need to jump out to a good start so we can establish the run, and so we can let Devontae Freeman eat, because Free hasn't been able to eat pretty much all year, because the first 2 games, the first game against the Vikings and this game against the Colts, the first 2 away games, we put ourselves in huge holes, and that's why we had to abandon the run game. Also in this game on the offense, I want to see some more no huddle, because last week when we went to the second half and we did win in the no huddle, Matt Ryan got into a rhythm. The offense got into a rhythm. Because it seems like in a lot of these games, we can't get rhythm. For whatever reason, the offense is not getting into a rhythm. So I don't care if you got to start off the game in the no huddle. That's fine with me. Let Matt Ryan get off to an early start. Let him get into a rhythm, so later on in the game, it's not so tough. And that's the reason I feel like last week it took us a while to get into the flow of the game, because Matt Ryan had that turnover in the red zone, and then after that, it was just like we were kind of stagnant. So we need to make sure we get off to a great start in this game, a fast start in this game. With that said, I don't have too much more to talk about. I'm trying to think if I got everything I wanted to talk about. I think I pretty much hit on everything that I wanted to talk about. Another quick thing that I want to talk about on the defense, we need to make sure we're tackling. No throwing your body at a player with the ball. Don't throw your body at them. We need to wrap up. Wrap and roll is what they taught in Seattle when Dan Quinn was there, and now he brought that to the Falcons. So I want to see a lot of wrapping and rolling. Wrap them up. If you got to wrap them up around the legs, because Derrick Henry is a big guy. Some of our cornerbacks and things of that nature may not be able to tackle him up high, and he's a very up high runner. But he's a huge guy. He's a really big guy. So wrap and roll, tackle him at his legs, and game tackle. I want to see 2 and 3, 4 hats at a time going at these guys that got the ball. I want to see us swarming towards the ball, and I want to see us playing like a team. But like I said, I feel like we can win this game. I really don't want to give a prediction on a score. Long as we win the game, I'm good. I'm looking forward to this game. I do believe that we will win this game on Sunday and be back at 2-2 going into Houston, where we're going to have to go to Houston to play the Texans. But this is a huge game because we have to keep pace with the Saints. I can't talk, y'all. We have to keep pace. The Saints, we do not want them to jump up and get like a 2 or 3 game win streak or get 2 or 3 games ahead of us in the division. We need to keep pace with them because all of the teams are right there with us. The Panthers are 1-2. The Saints are 2-1. And the Tampa Bay, they're 1-2. So we all are right there together, all clumped in together. But we need to start getting these wins in, man. And like I said, as always, this is your boy Jew. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to have all of your Atlanta Falcons content. All of the best Atlanta Falcons content. I'm always going to keep it positive. Like I said, I believe in this Falcons team, man. I got us going to the Super Bowl against the Patriots in Miami this year. But it starts with now. We have to make these adjustments now. No more waiting. The time is now. Even if Dan Quinn was told or he believes that he still has time, the time is now to make these changes. We don't need to wait. With the Kamal Ishmael situation, I believe that that's already pretty much a done deal. Like, he's the starter. At least that's what he's been told because they were interviewing him today. So we're going to see what he can do. But after this game or at halftime, if he's struggling, I want to see adjustments made. Not Devontae Casey. I keep wanting to say Devontae Casey. Devondre Campbell, if he doesn't play well, I mean, if he's end up starting this game again, I want to see him improve. If he doesn't improve at halftime, I want him to get pulled. And I want them to put in Jermaine Grace or Foye Olakun because those guys are proven that they can run sideline to sideline and they're good players in coverage. I don't care about what Devondre Campbell has done in the past. He's a great player. I have no disrespect against him. I have nothing against him. I love all my Falcon players, but it's time to make these changes, man. We can't afford to keep dropping games just because we are afraid to make adjustments or we're afraid because we're going to hurt our players' feelings. No, it's not about that. This is a business. We're in a production business. And Dan Quinn's going to find that out the hard way if he doesn't start making these changes, the appropriate changes. Because a lot of the Falcons fans are out on Dan Quinn. They're ready for him to be out of here. Me personally, I still believe in Dan Quinn. And I trust that he's going to make the proper adjustments for this team to get us to the promised land. We all just want all of the Falcon fans, and we all just want us to win the Super Bowl. So in order to win the Super Bowl, we're going to have to make some changes on this team. We're not going to be able to keep the team as is, and that's me personally speaking. I don't believe that. I believe that we're going to have to make them adjustments that I talked about on defense and on offense. We got to start fast, man. This is what it's all about. But that's all I got for y'all. This is your boy Jew. Like I said, please hit that like button for your boy. Like, share, subscribe. If you would like to donate to my channel, you can hit my Cash App. It'll be the $ Jew Talk Sports. Like I said, it's your boy Jew. I'm out. Rise up. I expect a win on this Sunday. I will be doing a post-game show on Sunday. Hopefully it's after a victory where I can talk about what we did well and what players did well, who deserve a game ball and things of that nature. But I'm expecting big things from this Atlanta Falcons team. I'm out. Peace. Have a great day.